being here in a second. What did we do? Are we aiming these at us? Just like that, goodness. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. It's 9 o'clock on Thursday, June 19th, 2025. And this meeting is being recorded. Silence your phones if you've got them. I just did mine, thank heaven. And with that, why don't we stand for Paul and the pledge?
Repeat after me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me for the invocation. Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for this county and the ground that we live on. Lord, we just ask for your blessing, your wisdom, your grace over these proceedings, over our staff, those that are working, those that are here. Lord, just guide each and every one of us to do what is in the best interest of our citizens. In your name, amen.
Amen. Okay, Kelly, roll call.
Commissioner Kanda.
Here.
Commissioner Epp.
Present.
Commissioner Vogelsong.
Present.
BOCC admin Caitlin Womack. Here. And clerk to the board Kelly Camper present.
Okay, good. Audience introduction, and let's start up here with Brad.
Brad Bulls, Lake County Coroner.
Nikita Phillips, Deputy Coroner.
John Mapes, Custer County ITGIS.
Sarah Bertelson, Custer County Public Health Agency.
Clyde Butler, Airport Manager.
Brian.
Brian Lockhart, Landfill Supervisor.
Office of Emergency Management, Robin Knappy.
Don Getchman, Custer County Veteran Service Officer.
Selena Crawford, Planning and Zoning.
Vicki White, Department of Human Services. Virginia Trujillo, Treasurer, Public Safety.
Jim Shapland, Concerned Citizen.
Jerry Peters, likewise. Bob Smith, Human Resources Risk Management.
Rich Smith, County Sheriff.
Okay, get them all. And who's online?
Deb Adams, Lauren Neeson, and Ron Post.
Lauren, who?
Neeson.
Okay. All right, with that, then we'll continue with the agenda. Any amendments?
None from me, sir.
I have nothing yet.
None here, so we'll keep moving on. Approval of the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the June 11th, 2025 minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, and I didn't have any issue.
No
Good.
correction.
All in favor, say aye. Paul.
Aye.
Lucas.
Aye.
Kanda, aye. Commissioner items, Paul. You're up.
Been a busy week on the telephone and talking with people. We had at the Liberty Rocks, we did get up and speak about the not being a sanctuary county, and that Lucas was heading that, had a lot of participation from the audience. Basically told them that it's not in our hands and that we would continue to do things to remove us from the list that we got on. We don't know how we got on it, so I think Lucas might expand on that just a bit. Other than that, just trying to take care of some issues that came up in the area, pass them off to Road and Bridge, to Bill and everything. So it's been just kind of an administrative week, and things are going pretty good. Yeah.
Lucas.
Last Thursday, we had Enterprise Fleet Services come. We had a workshop open to the public. They presented their plan for us. Mainly, they want to replace every vehicle every 3 years at roughly a cost of $650,000 a year. That's more than our total capital improvement budget. Now, that's taken into account a lot of vehicles that have become largely obsolete, we need to get rid of anyway. But we'll dial that down to what maybe it actually needs to be and see what they can do. So they were kind of right on the Forerunners. Ours is probably worth about $5,000 more than what we paid for it. So based upon what I see used prices at right now, but I've also kind of turned a little bit of this project over to John Mapes. He wants to take a whack at it too, so I think largely we can do this internally. We just need to spend some time on it and see what we come up with, and then see what enterprise and see what the other fleet service did, see what we can do. So we'll see what goes. Custer County Kids Council had their event on Saturday, so good event. I think a lot of our staff were there, so all presenting and all giving stuff away, all taking care of our children, so it's a good thing. Coffee with the Commissioners on Tuesday, hosted by the library, had basically 2 people show up, and then Tom from UACOG came up, so it was good. UACOG board meeting was yesterday. David Paul is our executive director and taking that over and making things happen. We're getting rid of obsolete vehicles and buildings that we no longer need. Did an IT walk to clean up the hardware locations and cable routing, getting our stuff all dialed in there better. And then public health, Sarah Bertelson and I have been talking almost weekly, if not twice a week, about July 1st to June 30th fiscal year. So grants are kind of going away. Some we've gotten back, but some are going away. So we're just kind of trying to strategize.
Fine. Smoke does,
Yep.
dust clears, huh?
Where we're gonna end up. So it's coming up fast and furious on us. So.
Same with OEM, I think, we got wait and see. Okay, I'll tag on to a couple of those. That Coffee with the Commissioners was nice to be invited to the library. I thought it was a good idea. Surprised there wasn't as many people as could have been there. Can you hear me back there?
Your mic's not.
Okay. It is on.
Now you're.
Oh, okay. Now can you hear me better? Okay. Just wanted to be sure because I couldn't hear it either. Did learn something at the Coffee for Commissioners though that I told him I would bring up. This one fella had an idea that because the older you get, the darker the roads look at night, and the road chip sealed or asphalted out to the wherever. In this particular case, it's out to Lake Louise. You can't see the sides, and so he's wondering if we could paint white stripes on the side of the road. That's a neat idea. That's a safety thing. You wouldn't want to put the stripe in the middle because then you're looking right at the headlights. But I told him I'd bring it up. It's only money, but that's the problem. We have to prioritize things like that and the safety involved. So stay tuned. Maybe that's in the future, but we need to take a hard look. I talked to Vince about it. We'll see what it costs, and then we'll figure out what we're doing with other things. Like we have an issue with the pumps, and we'll hear more about that when Vince comes up to talk about the leak in our diesel tank out there at the Road and Bridge. So that's going to cost some money to get the testing done on that to get us certified for the new pumps, and Vince can bring us up to speed on that. The jail tour was a good one we did also since the last meeting, and that's proven to be that sheriff did a great job of getting everything down there and the tour set up, and it's certainly a lot cheaper. What was it, $132 per prisoner, something like that? 100.
It's 122, I think now, and maybe going to 132 after next year.
Next year, so it's still cheaper than building a new jail, and they got the room to house them right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out as we get closer, and that brings up the Justice Center at some point. We're not gonna have a Justice Center, but we do need a new courtroom still. And we'll start on that next, this coming month to get it energized again, because we're gonna be faced with it. And then the airport made the news. If you haven't heard already, it's gonna be on TV maybe. We saved a life this last weekend during the week. And Clyde can talk more about that when he comes up, but Flight for Life helicopter had to hover, keep the rotors going because they couldn't switch fuel tanks to get to the other reserve, and so they didn't have enough fuel to make it to Denver. And they stopped in here and hovered right there, well, basically, while they fueled it up. And did save a life, so that was a neat thing. Clyde can tell you more about that. And I think that's enough for now. Okay? All right, coming up next, we don't have our attorney. Is he coming in today?
He's coming in to talk to the sheriff and HR about a court request, but other than that, I waved him off this meeting.
Yeah. Okay, and the admin, okay? Okay, Rich, you're up, sheriff's report. Mr. Rich. There you go, hi, Rich.
You're on.
So I did give you a sheet with some of our statistics. I will tag on to what you just said about the airport and the helicopters. Last Saturday, we needed 3 helicopters in the county. So we're using them a lot, and that doesn't include search and rescue missions, which almost always use a helicopter. And in several cases, the helicopter land the search and rescue, fly 1 or 2 rescuers up, but they're real limited on weight, and do that a couple times, then stop and fly to Alamosa or Canyon City, fill up with gas, come back and keep going. And so I'm grateful that you guys have that resource. I did meet with one ongoing problem we've had in our community is domestic violence. And I did meet with Family Crisis Services, thanks to a meeting that you set up. And we're gonna be able to start sending domestic violence victims and their children, if they need a safe place to go, to Fremont County. And that's a tool we've needed. And just generically speaking, we've had, in this case, a woman who lived in a violent household and was afraid to leave or ask for help because she didn't want to leave the kids there. And so we needed a package that would help the wife and the kids on short notice. And so that's going to be happening. You mentioned the painting the lines on the road, and there's 2 grants that you might look out. One is called Safe Routes to Schools, and the other is a bicycle lane thing. Both are from CDOT. And if you could, whatever road it is you're looking at, if kids use that to go to school, it might cover painting the lines.
It's not a bad idea.
So that might be an option for you. On Saturday, we had our posse involved with the youth event at the park. And then we also supported 2 different First Amendment events. One was a march down Main Street from the Bluff to roughly West Cliff Petroleum, and another one was at a local newspaper office. And I did meet with Dr. Gilbert, the march organizer. At the beginning, gave my cell phone, said if you have any problems, you're gonna call me direct. And I don't mind the police to be like sitting in the middle and attracting attention or drawing conflict, but we were just in the area. And then when they got to the Highway 69 South intersection, the deputy who was there, using his own initiative, jumped out and blocked the road so that we could get all the marchers across in one blow, which I think is safer for the marchers and the other motorists.
They weren't really marchers, because if they were marching, then they had a parade permit.
That would have been nice to have.
They were just strolling up the street.
Right, and if it with advance notice, then we could have brought out the posse, which was already committed, unfortunately, but we could have made a safer event for everyone.
Sure.
With advance notice like that. There was one medical emergency. One of the marchers, an older lady, started to suffer heat exhaustion, and they left her in the West Cliff Petroleum parking lot. So the deputy was able to go contact her, ask if she needed an ambulance. She didn't like that, and we had water and Gatorade to give her, and gave her a ride back to where she needed to go. And then the big event was at the Sentinel, and a person who was not one of the marchers got into some kind of a verbal conflict with the people at the Sentinel, and then at some point pulled a gun and pointed it at several people. And we had a deputy right in the area when it happened and followed him safely out of town, and then we arrested him without incident outside of town.
He wasn't a citizen of the county?
He's a local resident, yes.
He is?
Yes.
Arrested him, and more to follow now, or?
Yeah, so we filed our charges, so now they have to come from the DA's office, but there was a lot of interest from the media, so I just can't
That's
get
good
the
to
bare
know.
bones
Yeah.
press release to cover that. I had something else to say, but I can't think of it, so I'll turn it over to Brad.
Brad can think of it.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
John. When you go into a domestic violence, is there any transporting if they don't only have one car or whatever, can we transport them to?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay.
So we'll do whatever it takes.
Okay.
And we've driven people to the hospital, to a veterans thing. And typically this happens kind of like after business hours, but during business hours, we have more options here as well. So, but if there is a domestic violence victim 24 hours a day, they can call 911 and we'll come. And if they want to go to the shelter, we'll take them down in Canyon. And I will just read this phone number for the record. It's for the Family Crisis Services in Canyon City. The phone number is 719-275-2424, and that's a 24-hour number. Or call 911 for us.
And before you go to, Vince told me the other day that he's getting people that are in the middle of the work zone, speeding up in the work zone and blowing over his equipment. He lost some signs and some other things, I think.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so I don't know, we just gotta keep people slow down when they see the sign saying work, slow down, but then they get out of control in the middle.
Well, prior to school getting out, we only have one morning deputy to cover
All
every
this
call
I
in the
know,
county.
so,
And also name is David Binkowski, and he's also our top ticket writer.
yeah,
So he definitely goes there, but during the summer, we have a second guy, Kobe, who's normally in the school, so we actually got double coverage
okay.
on the morning shift.
Yeah, especially with the tourists, they don't know, and they get in the work zone, and they try to go over the windrow in the middle and high center themselves and wreck and you name it.
I've seen crazy things out there. I'm sure
All
Vince
the
has too.
above.
All the above. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Brad, come on up.
I'm not.
Wait a minute, who's up?
Virginia's.
Virginia's up. Come on up.
I don't want to cut lines.
Okay, he pointed at you and it made a logical sense. Hi, Virginia.
Virginia.
Good morning.
There's your signing one.
Thank you.
Do you want one?
Okay, anything special, Virginia, you want to mention?
No, it's all pretty, yep.
Okay,
Numbers are what
Lucas, you
they
want to
are.
highlight something you've seen?
No, we're not in the negative on anything, which is a good thing, which makes Virginia happier with me, for sure. And I'm happier too, when we're not in the negative.
Okay, so this is a treasurer's report for April 1 through 30. Beginning balance was $9,849,557.53, and she ended with $11,252,058.19. Tax time.
It's almost over.
This might be the end of the windfall.
Close.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, any questions?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Virginia.
Very good.
And we can accept the, we'll take
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of April.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Paul, aye.
And aye. Thank you, Virginia.
Did you sign it?
I will sign it right.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks, Virginia. Do it this one.
Keep that.
All right. Now, to the desk. I didn't start right yet, it only be about 45 seconds.
Okay, what do we got up next? Okey dokey, it looks like Brad can come up. We're ready for you. Thank you. You got all your hair cut. Yeah, yeah.
How are we doing this morning?
Good, thanks, Brad.
I don't have a lot for you, thankfully, but we had one death last week, had a local 44-year-old man pass, so I'm investigating that. I'm doing an autopsy, and we're waiting on autopsy results to see what happened to him. So pretty young to pass, so we look at those pretty close.
Yeah.
But he had some definite issues, so I'm sure we'll figure it out. But, other than that, progressing on the cooler, trying to get a tax exempt status with Home Depot so I can order some stuff there. And I don't know why that takes so long, but we've applied for it, so waiting for that to come back so I can buy stuff for the county tax exempt, and they won't refund it if you do it, if you don't have your tax exempt stuff, so I've turned in the paperwork for that, so we're waiting on that to come back. And then Saturday, we are going to Grand Junction for Coroner's board meeting, and then we're going for a training to the body farm in Grand Junction. They have a body farm where they study decomposition and insect predation and all kinds of things, where they have bodies on a location that's
It's fertilizing the ground.
and they're studying all different rates of decomposition, animals, predation, insects and all that. So we're going for a tour there for a training Saturday.
You're gonna be a special person to look forward to that.
Yeah, I said I'd rather go when it's cold.
Yeah, go when it's
It's
cold.
cold out, but we're going when it's supposed to be 100 in Grand Junction this weekend.
We have our
so-
old dead piles on the ranch.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stay upwind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
but, yeah, we're gonna go tour that Saturday and we'll be home Sunday. So I've got a couple of deputies covering the weekend. Should
So you
anything
good with your cooler now? You've got one lined up, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Fremont County just bought one, so I.
Oh, did they? Yeah, I've got the container in my lot.
Okay,
I've already got it here bought, so.
too bad you didn't get a group buy on that.
Yeah, I mean, they've come down from what they used to be. I bought a nice one tripper for $3,900 delivered. So it wasn't, I thought, a year and a half ago, you were paying $5,000 for one.
Yeah.
So they've come down a bit, and it's
That's
nice,
good.
it's clean, I won't have to paint it.
So-
It's in good shape, it's nice tan. So, yeah, it'll look good.
Question on the power, do you have any concerns there, we need to get power to it? And
We do have to get power to it, and Rich and I have gone over that, and whoever he chooses, or you guys choose for an electrician, I've offered to donate the ditch from the sheriff's office back to the containers. We're gonna power Rich's garage back there, my container, and the dive team's container, so they have lights. So, and they're all in the same shot. So, my company personally will donate the ditch and the backfill, and then, we'll have to have an electrician, unless we rope Lucas into doing it. Yeah.
Well, he could donate his time too.
Yeah.
He's not like he's not busy.
Right.
He's not donating
So,
all the time.
So
Yes.
that probably is roughly bid.
Cost wise, it probably doesn't.
I don't know what the dollar.
Is there a dollar? That's what I'm trying to
Everything
figure
being
out.
donated.
I don't know,
That's a good question.
it'll probably be between 5 and 10, somewhere in there, I would imagine, pretty easy, so.
Oh, yeah, probably.
No, let's, just have Matt Carver come over there and then let him start arranging that, so you guys
Okay.
get out of it, and then he can take that over and find
Find
whoever he can find a
We'll
bidder.
find somebody to.
Yeah.
I just didn't want that to be a snag.
Yeah, no, I talked to Rich about it, and I said, whoever you guys want to use here, it's his.
Yeah, Matt can go and put a request in,
Okay.
compare price.
Perfect. Yeah, and I didn't know if that had to go out to bid or not, but,
We try to,
Yeah.
under that amount, wouldn't
If it's
absolutely
small,
have
we
to, but
Yeah.
between 5 and 10,
Yeah.
we should.
yeah, whatever local contractors want to take a shot at it, we can sure give them a crack at it. So,
Okay,
that's all I got for you guys.
cool. Any other
Okay.
questions?
No, I didn't.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thanks, Phil. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okey dokey, let's see, you've got the assessor up, he's not here.
No, I received no response from him.
No, you didn't? Okay, well, we'll catch up when he's got a report in here.
No.
Okay, yeah, we'll catch him. We'll catch up with it. Brad, can you go find, no. Keep him out of the cooler.
Yeah.
All right. Next then would be Kelly.
Do you want me in the hot seat over there, or can I just?
No, you can do it right there,
Just-
because they got a mic.
You have your own mic, you bet.
Okay.
You just talk normal and you're good.
All right, so since this is my first report, I just sort of, I'm winging it.
That's
Because I
all.
don't know what you guys are wanting. I put a list on here of the fees that my office collected in May. The total fees for May were $248,368.97. Not all of that stays in the county, depending on what it is. Marriage licenses, death certificates, some of the motor vehicle fees, taxes, they go to the state, the two towns get their taxes, all that. Some of the motor vehicle fees go, Virginia's office divvies them up to all the different entities in the county.
Yeah, you had 240,000, interesting, 240,800, $480. And they went to 1, 2, 3, 4 places. And
Yeah.
the county got about half.
Yeah, probably. Maybe a little bit more than half, but I guess by the time that you divvy it up to the entities, I don't know how much she divvies up. Might be a question to ask her.
The rest of them.
Anyway, all the fees that we collect, I kind of broke it down on there so that you can see, what kind of fees we collect, and in the parentheses I put, the amount that stays in the county, and then the amount that goes elsewhere. Recording fees are gonna go up July 1st. Currently, the recorded document is $13 for the first page and $5 a page after that. They're gonna go up to $43 for the whole document. So if you got one page, it's gonna be $43. If you got 100 pages, it's gonna be $43.
So I'll come in with one page and ask for 43 copies.
Yeah. The one pagers are gonna complain.
Yeah, they
100 pagers are gonna be happy.
Yeah.
But we will actually come out ahead on this, I think, because we've been working on this for a couple of years, and when we figured the total amount of pages that we record, I think we're gonna benefit from it. That will sunset in '29, but depending on how it works, it may get renewed, or it may become.
It's a 5-year deal.
Yeah. One of the things that came up with those fees is death certificates. We're not gonna charge to record a death certificate at all, because we figured if they're coming in to record a death certificate, the last thing we need to do is ask them for $43. $3 of that, $2 is the portion that goes to the state for those grants that I apply for. And then the $1 is the portion that stays in the county, and that helps pay for some of the recording, like the online stuff. The state has chosen to waive the $2 fee on the death certificates, because in the bill, we missed taking out the $3, so they were still gonna be charged $3. So the state's gonna waive that $2. I would like to waive the $1. We still have to pay for it, and so I'm trying to come up with a plan to pay for it. It's gonna cost $80 a year, give or take. I've been working with Dan on that. He's gonna do a resolution. It'll be at the next meeting.
Okay.
And with that, I am working on a new fee schedule, and that has to be approved by you guys too, so we're just gonna get it all in one big lump.
So that just, the $80 would just come out of our general fund.
And
Well,
well, it's going to her
I'm
budget.
almost thinking that maybe the best way to do it is, like if we record a death certificate on a day, and somebody pays $10 for copies that day, we just take that dollar out of the copies. I just move it in my
Just keep
bookkeeping,
maintaining it.
because then that way, because it would be weird to get a check
Right.
to pay me,
Yeah,
to pay you guys.
Additional line
No.
item.
Because
Good
I'm-
idea, keep it, well, budget for it,
Keep,
really.
keep it in-house, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll look at legislation next year to just get that fee removed from the death certificate.
Okay.
And then the last thing, on the election front, a lot of people don't understand that, we actually have an election this year. It's an off year. There's no, other than school boards, there's no people on the ballot. There'll just be questions, a couple questions from the state, school board. If
And
you
our
guys
lodging
come-
tax
yeah,
initiative,
if you guys
if we
come
just-
up with that. But just want to make you aware of that. One of the things, with the elections right now is my accessibility surveys are due July 7th. So every year I have to do a accessibility survey on the, handicap parking here and in Wetmore. I did the one in Wetmore, last week when we were down there. They're missing a sign down there, so I guess I'll get with you, Vince, to get a sign ordered.
Yeah, what's a survey mean? What are they looking for?
So, and they have a new survey. We've gone from 3 pages to 20 pages.
Wow.
Yes,
They have to,
And-
you gotta get your tape measure out and measure things.
you do, and you have to figure the slope of it. And so I had to do a little Googling and figure out how the heck I'm supposed to figure out the slope of it. So
Get Vince
I've
out
got
there with
that
his
all figured
transit.
out.
Wait till it rains.
Yeah. And we have to paint new lines because the lines are pretty bad right now. Which I've talked to Matt about. He said he would paint them. Vince, do you have,
We did one.
you did? Okay. Because Dave was getting down on his hands and knees and hand painting them. And I hated to see him do that because that's not good on your knees.
Right.
So anyway, the parking lot could be a little better where the handicap stuff is,
Pine Courthouse, you mean?
but yeah, behind the courthouse. It's not bad in Wetmore, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. But, the state came up a couple months ago and did they do like an audit on it, and, they didn't like how bumpy it was, but it's West Cliff, it's Custer County.
Complain to the commissioners.
Yeah, so, anyway, I keep seeming to pass my audit, so until I don't pass it and they scream, then we'll deal with it.
Okay.
There's an area of concern then.
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's it, unless you have any questions.
Yeah, real quick point for everybody, I should have asked Brad and Rich too. Budget okay, you're maintaining, and you're not any issue coming looming in the future here that might cost something?
No.
You're staying within? Okay, we're gonna have our budget meeting here in another month or so. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay. That gets us to Veteran Services. Dominic?
Mr. Dominic.
Okay, we're gonna try you for 4 minutes.
I'm taking planes on this time too.
Making money on it.
Welcome, Dominic.
Morning.
Okay, as soon as you're sit down,
I'm gonna
you're good.
do that before I forget.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions about my report?
Give us the highlights.
Okay. I can do that. Let's go through the whole thing.
No.
Recap.
So I have my own stupid little goals, and it's just to keep me on my toes, but I wanted to get to another $1 million of annual increased compensation before the end of May, and I did it. So we were at $1,063,000. That was rating decisions for 75 veterans. So 228 veterans to date have received rating decisions as I got here with increases, and we're at about $3.5 million in annual increased compensation since August of '23. My VAG, we've exhausted it. Ends at the end of this month, so we had to have the last reimbursement in by Monday, which I got in. I thought we had $2.51 remaining out of the 30,000 we got, but I forgot to account for that water heater that they wouldn't reimburse for. So we were actually left with 303 in the pot. That's all that didn't get used of it. We're finding out, hopefully, before the end of next week, how much money we're getting in that VAG for the upcoming state fiscal year. So hopefully it's smaller than the 30,000 that we had last year. There's really nothing else I'm gonna off the report, but folks that everybody that I work with, my goal is to get them to 100%. We're at 45 right now that we've gotten to 100%. So percentage wise, off of all my ratings, we're at 9.9. I was hoping to be double digits by now in the percentage wise, but that's what it is. We're close enough.
Doing a good job.
4th of July stuff. We have the parade obviously that morning, but we're also doing that community celebration at the West Cliff Memorial Park, and that's open to everybody, the whole community. We have so much of the community as a veteran group, and this is our opportunity now to thank the whole entire community for supporting veterans and stuff.
How you advertising? How are we gonna know?
So Courtney's been working it. We're just trying to finalize a couple of last minute things, and then we can put the flyers out. The Legion has already been sharing that we're doing it down there, but like I said, for what we're trying to do, and it's Courtney that's taking point on it. That's the second VSO here in the county, but we're just trying to finalize a couple of things, and then we'll push the flyer out. But it will be at the park from 1 to 5. We're bringing food trucks in. We have a dunk tank, a couple bounce houses.
The park is,
the West
for the
Cliff,
record.
we have West Cliff Memorial down Ferment. But again, 1 to 5, everybody's welcome to come on out and share in just some camaraderie. And other than that, well, that's all I've got.
Okay, what I'd like to see here, we've talked about it, how many, for the record, how many veterans do we have in the county?
On paper, 581.
Yeah, and how many do we have in Fremont County?
4,500.
40, and how many in Chaffey County?
1,500.
1,500. So it makes you wonder why they come here, but it also, I mentioned this last meeting, it created quite a stir because those people that are the veteran service officers are moving around and getting new people and others. So I did talk with the county manager of Chaffey and Fremont County Commissioner, and we'll try to get a meeting together to help the bigger picture, maybe help some training, maybe come up with some ideas, because people on the border tend to think, well, I'm on the borderline, and so they just hop over the line over here. It seems like you've gotten a lot of, how many, you counted the other day, you went through like 10 names and you had one from Custer County.
We're tracking for this entire month every veteran county, and I'll tell you right now, where we're sitting right now, it's 50-50 Custer and Fremont. When I'm looking just at Custer and Fremont, it's 50-50 right now. Not yesterday, day before yesterday, so Tuesday, every veteran that was in my office was Fremont County.
Right. And so maybe, and it's not probably miles wise harder to get to Fremont County than it is here.
No, and a lot of the folks, I mean, if you're looking at like the Cotopaxi area, or even just coming down from Florence and Penrose, they're coming this way. But a lot of it is just they've not gotten help in the past, and that's what it is. Even with the VAG, with that money, it split between Fremont.
So maybe there's some way of helping them when they come to understand the call, or the other VSO to help say, look, here's where we aren't following through. Maybe they can pick it up on their schedule. Well, we'll get a meeting together, and I'll schedule that up.
So any veteran that reaches out to me and it's not from Custer County, my first question is, have you talked to your county VSO?
Right.
And if they say yes, then my next question is, why
So
you not
why aren't you
working?
there, why aren't you working?
And if it's just, I don't wanna work with them, I'm not getting help, then I'm happy to take them on.
Sure.
But if they haven't tried, then I'm gonna tell them, we'll go see them
Keep
first.
after.
Yeah, go see them first.
And then maybe for a while, I'll make calls back to the commissioner and help and cite them and do a little better job.
Right.
All right,
But yeah, we are tracking numbers, so next month I'll have accurate numbers for June. How many folks are coming here and from where,
okay, good.
and I'll have the exact numbers for the grant as well, so I'll break it down.
And your budget's okay?
Yeah, which is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions?
Good,
Are you hoping for more from the bag?
Yeah, we should see more. And like I said, last year, with the bag, only 4 counties out of the 64, like the county VSOs got money from VAG. But VAG is open to 501c3s and government entities, but only 4 county VSOs out of the 64 counties got VAG money.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve CVA 26 County Veteran Service Office monthly report.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the VA report for the month. Any discussion? Other, what we got?
No,
All in
thank you.
favor, say aye. All.
Aye.
Aye.
And aye.
For the June report, I'm gonna have to get that signed before the 5th of July.
Okay.
Because I have to submit for that semi-annual stipend
Right.
before the 5th. So I'll get that to you, I'll get it to Caitlin at the end of the month. As soon as
Okay,
the report's
okay,
done.
okay.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
And thanks again for your support, appreciate it.
Thank you. What we got up next? I just lost my agenda here. There it is. Okay, next out of the chute, looks like we've got finance, human resources. Mr. Bob. Bob. Morning. Welcome, Bob. And these are just reports of different things.
Thank you, Commissioners. So attached, not necessarily go over in detail, is the update of the department, my department operational plan. Put that together after I started just to help guide the actions of the department and things we're working on to keep things prioritized. And as always, if you see something on there that you want to bring to the front or you want more action taken on, or just let me know. It's a document that's constantly evolving and changing, so that's its purpose. I completed our 2026 CAP insurance renewal for the public. CAP is the insurance policies that the county carries with
You guys hear him
CTSI,
back there?
with,
Yeah, okay.
that covers our vehicles and insurance and buildings and liability insurance and bonds and airport insurance and everything that we are required to have. So that's been completed and sent in. Working on the volunteer accident insurance renewal. It's one of the supplemental insurance coverages the county can take out, so I'm working on that. Working on a contract with the county and Seaford Enterprises LLC for Road and Bridge. Road and Bridge uses their Seaford's pits for aggregate. This year they've required, in the past I should say, it's just they've given the county verbal access to the pits. It hasn't been real formal. This year they've required that if we're going to do that, they want the county to name them as additionally insured on the county's insurance and to waive waiving subrogation. So I've had to work through CTSI and Gallagher, the insurance carriers. That raised some concerns in my mind as far as what that does to the county. And in order for us to do that, we need to have a contract with them. And in the contract, it specifically waives those coverages if that's what the
county wants to do.
Disclaimer of some kind.
Yeah, and so, I'm working with Dan on that, and I've had conversations with Vince and with Seifert, so they understand where we're at. So that's a project in process. And when that contract comes up, I can go over with you what all that does and what that obligates the county to, or all that stuff. The workers' compensation insurance is, the broker we selected is working on a renewal quote, or a quote for services outlined in our RFP, so that's in process. The same thing is in process for our employee benefits, meaning medical, dental, vision, life, and ancillary coverage, ancillary or voluntary coverages, you know, cancer or accidental insurance and those kinds of things. So that broker is putting together, finalizing their RFP that goes out. They, just an idea of who that's going to, fully insured plans to 4 carriers, level funded plans, 7 carriers, third-party administrators or TPAs. It's going to 3 providers. The pharmacy benefit part of those is going out to 5 providers. The stop-loss carriers is 23. So what a stop-loss is may not be as understandable. Even like CTSI, they buy stop-loss. Depending on how we structure the benefits going forward, we may need to have a stop-loss carrier. So if our expenses or losses hit a specific predetermined level of claims, then the stop-loss carrier pays for those. That limits the liability and loss to the county and to specific employees. So then that's a way to manage claims. So that's 23 carriers. Captives, which is a type of plan, amount to 2 carriers, and ancillary carriers to 16 providers. It gives you an idea of the coverage that we're doing. I have a list of those specific carriers if anybody's interested. Attached is a 5-year summary of workers' compensation claims. So currently we have 6 open workers' compensation claims, and working with CTSI to, some of them in my mind are a little old and probably, I'm not sure why they're still showing open. So I'm trying to work through that with CTSI. And there's a list by year of the number of claims by department. I won't take time to read all of those.
Highlight wise though, it looks like it's averaging 6, 12 was the high in 2023.
6, 8, 12, 6, 6. So it varies, but it's right around in that vicinity.
Okay.
Of course, we get to a point where we don't have any. You know, that's a goal. And one of the things I would like to do, depending on what we do with workers' comp, is right now, because we're with CTSI, we don't have the ability to get from the state of Colorado. It's called a cost containment certification. And if we come out from CTSI, we can go through that process. It's about a 2-year process, and once you receive that, then the carriers are required to give you like a 5 to 6% reduction in claim costs. So that's one of the goals that I'm hoping to be able to get to down the road. We have 5 open property claims and 2 liability claims. Those are listed. And so I won't go through all of those. They're in the report.
You want to summarize you got 6 minutes going here.
Okay.
So you want to summarize, you got your master plan, and that, you said updated 11.
So currently working on trying to reduce county expenses related to human resources and county employee-related expenses and costs. That's kind of summarizes a lot of things in here, because personnel and personal related expenses are always one of the most expensive obligations the county carries or an employer carries. So between the 2 insurances and others, we're looking at trying to drive those costs down and trying to see if we get the best of that. Working and have been working on revisions and updates to the employee handbook. So that's been an ongoing project.
Onboarding, offboarding, lined
Yeah.
out, smoothed out.
That's going well, and I can jump to that in the report. Currently, we have recruiting for, we just hired a child protection caseworker for DHS. She starts today. We're doing the onboarding. The child support specialist is still being recruited. We just hired a road and bridge equipment operator, still looking for one more. The sheriff's office has hired a new patrol deputy. He starts Monday. And then be posting the planning and zoning director position here shortly.
Okay.
So I'm finishing up the revision to the employee handbook, policies and procedures. That's to the point where it's ready, basically ready to be released to the board and elected officials for their review.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage that process starts.
Yes,
So
the sooner the better.
So I've just about got it to the point where would like to release it so it can begin to be reviewed by everyone. That's, and there's some other big projects, but.
Budget-wise, you okay?
Very much so.
Got a question for you? You got any?
No, not at all. Everything looks good.
Good. Good, thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Good job. Okay.
Thank you. See you later.
Okay, we've got finance up. Vernon.
Good morning.
Mr. Vernon.
How you doing?
Well, thank you. I love the time button.
You and Brad are having a haircut contest.
Yeah. Yeah, I needed to shave, but I didn't have enough time.
Summertime.
So what more would you like to know about in my report? What would you like to know?
Just summarize it.
Okay.
We're in the black.
Yeah. Are we tracking against the plan?
I won't just read off the report, but the audit is progressing, consistently getting documents and worksheets, information, financials to the auditors. They are working on that. I had a site visit with them 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, excuse me. We are currently in the process of working on 4 requests for proposals, RFPs, one for CCTV. That one may possibly be tabled because of the deadline issue. Contract IT services, we have 3 proposals to date so far. County Health Service proposal, which Robert touched on. That
What
was
kind of
progress.
services are you contracting?
Are you talking about
Yeah, you said.
county health services or?
No,
or
you said you, okay.
Oh, contract IT services. The contract company to come in and manage our cybersecurity,
Yeah.
all of that. That's the contract IT services. Basically be a co-managed scenario with John, and we're looking at 3 different proposals of varying levels of support. So probably have those to present in the next 2 weeks.
So that'd be remotely and kind of stuff.
And they would actually visit on site if there are issues. So
Okay,
depends on which contract we choose. And then the last one we're looking at is a phone conversion. John has been very diligent in working with the phones that we're dealing with here at the county building and whatnot.
We're not getting strangers answering the department anymore.
We are trying to change all of that. We're spending, at last count, and I'm not speaking out of school here, at last count, I think we're spending over $7,000 a month on CenturyLink phones. That does not include our cell phones.
It's ridiculous.
We are looking at some options to drop that number down significantly. The VoIP phone option is probably the best way to go. It'll also give us more communication ability. So for instance, if somebody were to call your BOCC admin using the VoIP phone system, we could then transfer calls to the county building or to the sheriff's
Should
office.
be.
Well, you can't do that without a VoIP system. You can't do that without an interconnected system. Right now, they're basically just a bunch of telephone lines.
Right.
So I hear what you're saying. Dealing with the IRS, been very, very interesting. Half of the IRS agents have been fired, so IRS has been very challenging to deal with lately because there's very little service there, and the people that are working there, some of them are great and some of them are a nightmare. Excuse me. Up and coming, we have a finance department meeting next Thursday where I'll be meeting with all the department heads to go over any needs assessments regarding finances, training outlines, talk about new protocols and workflows, as well as a preliminary budget review and basically making certain everybody's on track and seeing if they need to have any infusions or budget adjustments at this point in time. So that is my summary of my report.
You worried about the audit?
That's a loaded statement. I am always worried about the audit.
I could have said, are you worried about the VoIP? No, but what's your headache?
What's my headache? Well, I beamed myself in my office the other day and was nearly unconscious on the floor, but that's okay. Workman's comp injury claim coming up.
Down hard.
Yes, I did. Very hard.
I got one going on.
The audit is always concerning. We didn't have enough staff last year, and we were trying to pick up the pieces from the previous year. But with the help of our accountants, we've made a huge amount of progress.
Yeah.
We've gathered more information and more documentation, more prep work than has ever been done before in Custer County history. And so I'm optimistic about that aspect of it. Working with Sam DiNardo, I wanted to stress, it's interesting that the auditors do not just audit the books, they audit the entire financial system. So all of the work that we've been doing this last year with policies and workflows is taking us up to another level that we needed to be at, that we will help us in the future. Okay. Taking one step further, it doesn't just audit our systems, being financial software, personnel, it actually audits, the environment, how much communication is happening. So they go through our BOCC meeting minutes. Are things properly communicated in ways that everybody understands and we can all be on the same page? That's an extensive audit. Not every auditor does that, but our auditors do. So those areas I'm very optimistic about the fact that we have made so much progress this year. So that's my feelings there.
So from what I get out of that is we're pretty current now. We used to run in the rears.
How do you mean?
And the IRS, is that usually a reporting thing or?
So there's actually 6 different portals that I have to use to interact with the IRS. One is for payments, one is for basically reporting for the 941 reports, which is our quarterly salary and withholdings reports, our W-3 reports, our 1099 reports. All of these require different accesses and logins. They're now going to, you can no longer mail 941 reports as of basically September this year. They're pushing everybody towards the portals, which quite honestly, they didn't really get them worked out until about last month. So that has been an absolute nightmare to work with. We've been sending 941 reports, and because of the staffing issues, they are their own processing is behind. We are making our payments on a monthly basis. We are making our reports on a quarterly basis and getting those. Fortunately, the W-2, the W-3 report, which is a summation of the W-2s, those were actually already digital, so that was right on time. So we've been sending all of our reports to them.
Okay.
They themselves are having their own issues.
Thanks.
So.
Okay, budget's okay. You're
Yes, actually, I did review the budget, and then we'll be doing another budget review. What is it, the 23rd of July?
July.
Okay, so
Good.
we're doing our mid-year budget review.
Question?
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, now, human services. Or, wait a minute, I'm sorry, IT.
IT.
IT's up. I keep confusing Vernon with IT sometimes. I'm sorry.
Yes. He's got a haircut too.
Yes.
Look at that, everybody's got the same look. I can't do it.
Yeah, just a little bit around here, you can.
The polish off.
All right, what you got? Highlight.
Taking over for IT and GIS this month, moving offices, ongoing, looking at the Microsoft accounts and inventory. I've been able to finish up with the IT, financing in the assessor's office. Auditing the landlines, I've gone through and mapped how they currently are, and I'm mapping this month on where we need to get to and what the new phone tree needs to look like, and try and get that implemented. And take into account if we do get the VoIP system, am I overworking this system to then go into a new system, but not try and not do enough on this system as well?
Yeah. How long is it gonna take to transition? You got any idea? You haven't got
Not without looking at the new
contract.
infrastructure and seeing what all we would be actually implementing.
It's gonna be a while.
Yes, sir. Tyler Connections, was able to get some forward progress there. The VPN was set for all traffic to go through the VPN at the sheriff's office. We got it to where now only secure traffic is going through there, but there's still a restriction somewhere that's limiting the speed on the secure traffic there. They had a meeting this morning or they're having a meeting this morning while we're doing this, so I'm not sure what they're gonna discuss there. We had quite a few internet outages at the courthouse, the sheriff's office. The landfill is currently down on Wednesday. I have a field crew meeting me out there. Internet is down, Road and Bridge down in Wetmore. On Monday, I'm gonna be down there to try and reconfigure the modem and work with their IT to try and get that up and going.
So is there an outage in West Cliff now?
Right, well, the landfill is out and Wetmore Road and
I
Bridge
heard
is
they're
out.
shutting down the bank.
I've not heard that.
They
So,
told me they were gonna be closed today.
That's because of June 19th.
yeah, today's
Oh, it is a
Juneteenth
holiday. Banking
holiday.
holiday it is? Oh, I
Yep,
guess we didn't
holiday.
take that holiday.
It is.
So,
Okay, I thought it was related to the outage.
we had meetings for contract IT services, that's ongoing. We had several problems with the camera server. I believe the sheriff's department is looking at a grant to replace that. Onboard of a new employee for the sheriff's department, other little things. And in the GIS process, 6 death certificates, 36 deeds, 2 new addresses, and we had a meeting for fire suppression pond needs assessment that I'll be going out hopefully tomorrow to do an initial field look and see how much field work I can get done on that
That's
tomorrow.
great, yeah, that was a good meeting we had.
Yes, sir.
So be prepared for the next one, which will be coming up, but it ought to be able to be a handbook. You'll have it all there. It's gonna be the same format and everything, so
Yes, sir.
don't lose. Make it simple.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
So, anything else?
Questions?
Okay, so,
Good deal. You got 2 minutes back. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John.
thanks, John.
And up at it next is Human Services, right?
Human Services, DH.
Miss Vicky.
Good morning.
Miss Vicky.
How you doing? You been busy?
Yeah?
You're on, Vicky.
So I will go ahead and make this, I don't have really too much today, so Our electronics benefits issuance, so we issued 2 providers and 2 clients, was a total of $126,428 for the month of May. That includes TANF, aid to the needy and disabled, old age pension, child care LEAP, food assistance, out-of-home placements, and we didn't have anything for core this year, or this month, for last month. For child welfare intake referrals, we had one that was, we had one referral, it was screened in, so that made our percentage 100% for the month of screened in referrals. Total ongoing cases in the month of May is 2. Adult protection services, we had 1 referral, 1 was screened in, makes it 100% for the percentage screened in for the month. We have 2 old ongoing cases, and one of those is with legal authority and the other one is without legal authority. And then child support services, unfortunately, I didn't have the numbers from the state yet to update those numbers, other than our caseload count for child support is 72. And I added on this report like our eligibility cases processed for the month. So we get new applications and we also have to process redeterminations every year for our clients who are applying for services or on services. Our new applications we received was 14 and our redeterminations was 24.
What's the percentage of applications that are approved, all of them usually?
I mean, it really depends because every program is based on income. It's income-based programs. So, I mean, any given month could be a different percentage. If you would like that on the report, I could probably.
It would be nice to know
Okay.
how many we're gaining all the time.
Okay.
Okay. That's the only question I need.
There is money left in LEAP, if you're having problems paying your electric bill and propane bill, so.
Yeah, we have a EOC program, so that also is an income-based program as well, but I think, I want to say about $3,000 that we have to give for those who are having issues with paying their electric bills and such, so want to put that out there as well. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, we have a new employee, correct?
Yes, our new child welfare APS caseworker is, her name is Ashley Wilkins, and she started today.
So we're brought her in here for the fun.
Yeah.
She's actually working with Dream It today. She's going to meet with some of the clients and doing some visits today, so.
Great.
Good.
Good. All right.
Okay. There, one more position.
Thanks.
Yeah. Other questions?
We got 2 more minutes back. Thank you, Vicki.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Vince, you're up.
Vince.
Road and Bridge.
Hot items. Mr. Vince.
Okay, number 1 on the fuel tanks. The diesel dispenser where it connects to the fuel pump through the years has been leaking down a hose to where the pump comes out of the tank. So therefore, we gotta have 4 test holes drilled. It's gonna cost between $75,000 and $10,000 just to punch these holes. So therefore, it puts us 30 days behind. So we're not gonna be able to be done by the end of June. It might be July before we can get it filled in and concreted. So we just gotta wait on the state. So Seneca, Bob is dealing with environmental. I just letting him deal with it. He does it on a daily basis, a monthly basis, so he deals with the state.
I had a good conversation with him. He said they bid it on the high side by $2,500 because we may not have the
Yes.
one issue. Hope so. Hope that's it.
We lost a grader this week. It's at John Deere. We had to put a completely brand new fuel system on it. John Deere does. The cost for that grader is gonna be $22,000 when it gets out of the shop.
Because metal filings went everywhere.
Yeah, the shavings went into the injectors, went into the pressure pump, and into the fuel pump.
And we're doing that in-house?
No,
just being.
The reason I took it to John Deere is because we'll have a year warranty on their work.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay.
Okay,
If we do it ourselves, we have no warranty. Then I got a request you guys wanted for the price for Envirotech to spray that 1.2 miles.
yeah, what'd you get? I'm just really surprised they didn't want road base under it.
Would you explain that, Jeff?
Okay, Envirotech, I went to a class a couple of weeks ago, and it's a new product. It's not mag, it's like a poly stuff. And what we do is we go in with our graders and we rip the road, and they spray it. It's like surf. And then we rework the road, we flatten it out, roll it, and let it dry a little bit, and then they call it a top coat. They put on it, it gets as hard as this floor. It doesn't get muddy. Water, it doesn't like water. It runs off just like asphalt.
So you rip it up, do you roll it first before they treat it?
We rip it up, they treat it with their truck, rocks and all. They want 5 inches of rip.
Yeah, really?
And then they just go through with the spray truck and spray it, and the graders work it, and we roll right behind the graders, keep rolling it till we get it tight. And then they spray it with the top coat.
How many miles is it?
1.2.
mile? 1.2 miles.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be interesting, because that's the worst spot right now.
And then this is the cost on what it did to do Copper Gulch.
Okay, so how many miles was this?
This is spot grading.
You
It's
got-
probably
Your total
3
cost
miles.
was 85,000. I'm curious on what it costs per foot. So
We'll
how
figure
many,
it out,
how many,
but-
I know how many miles, that's just.
We did the lower end of Fremont County on County Copper Gulch, from Reed Road up to our county line.
That's quite a while, quite a bit, okay.
Plus ripping the road, rolling it. Most of
That's
it.
the right way to do it.
And environmental friendly, I take it.
Hmm?
Environmental friendly, it's not a petroleum product.
No, it's spot.
Sounds like rubber to me, what is it? Goo.
She forgot to bring a sample up when she was up here like yesterday, so.
Alright,
And she is doing a sample of our gravel from Ed Lyons pit, and she's doing a sample of the gravel on Copper Gulch at their site. We're gonna test it for strength and what's in it and what we need to put in the road. And it doesn't cost the county anything, it's free.
good.
And that varies by section, correct?
Mhm.
You can adjust that to fit the needs of the changing in the material.
Cattle guard, okay?
Cattle guard's fine, haven't heard any complaints on phone or internet, so we're good.
Okay. Any other questions?
And the projects we got due, we're starting Monday on Schoolfield from Highway 69 west on Macy. It's gonna get overlaid with asphalt, blade patching. And then when we get done with that one, we're gonna go to Horn Creek.
Okay, so you're gonna overlay that first and then you're chip sealing it later?
We're chip sealing Rosita from County Road 19 northeast to where the dirt and chip meet on Rosita Road, because we've got new asphalt on it from last year,
Right, so
6 miles.
if people will think that you're doing the asphalt's the final product, it's not.
No,
Because then they think we're really lousy lay down machine, which we don't have. Anyway,
That's just very costly.
okay, makes sense.
that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Vince.
Oh, I never started, right?
Yeah, you did.
Calm down, Jeff.
Okay, come on up, Elena.
You know,
This is our first shot out of it, shoot.
yeah. Rookie.
Okay, what you got?
Well, I don't have much to say. May was a very busy month for us. We almost tripled in our revenue from April. We are still working on getting our grant projects going. We have our accessory permit has gone live. John got that up on our website. So now homeowners can go on there and do their own accessory permit and pay online. We are working on our dwelling permit, that'll be going live next month. And our grant scanners are working away, we've got quite a bit of our files online. Homeowners can go to Q Public and access their permits online. And once it's all done, all the property parcels will be available to the public online.
Looks like we're tracking it last year, more or less.
Yeah.
Close.
Okay, you got good help.
I do. Cheyenne's doing a great
Cheyenne.
job.
Yeah, kitchen.
Okay. How long is she good for? Is she on half-time, full-time?
Right now, she's part-time, but she is available to move up to full-time if that's something you guys want to do.
Okay, good to know.
And
You got anything to add?
just our squatters, we have an issue with a squatter that we need to take care of. We have that in the works, actually, as we're speaking, so.
Right, they're on county property.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet Rich right after the meeting and we're gonna visit.
Anything else we need to know? Everything's running smooth.
Everything is running smooth, just trying to get organized and let everything flow smoothly.
So do we have any records for systems that are older than 1990?
We do, so the records will go back as early as like 1978, when they started the permitting process. They're kind of hard to read, and they're not as detailed as what we do now, but it does go back to the late 70s for septic.
We've got a couple that asking, it looks like they may not know how big a tank they got.
Right.
Okay. Got anything?
Don't have any more questions? Good.
Okay,
All right,
thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
Clyde, you're up.
Clyde's up. Mr. Clyde. Our hero. Can we nab him as a hero? A hero.
Got his Air
We'll get
Force
you a
blue
shirt
on
with a
there.
vest on it, Clyde, is that will that work?
Okey dokey, you're on, give us the highlights there, Clyde.
Well, first of all, Brian Anderson is the one who should be considered a hero if anybody is, because he was the one that was there to help fuel that helicopter.
Yeah. Took good pictures.
Yeah, he did. So I just want to read a few notes to update my report that I submitted to Caitlin. So far, we've sold 1,000 gallons, 998 gallons of jet fuel. We've only been in business for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's good.
And we still have 6,235 gallons of jet fuel in the tank, so we're still got a good supply. And I had to buy avgas 100 low lead on the 10th of June, and got it at a pretty good price this time, so I was able to lower our price to make us more competitive.
It's great.
We're 11 cents cheaper than the Walsenburg.
I can't believe we're cheaper in Walsenburg. It never happened.
When they figure it out, they'll probably come down and match us. They usually do.
When they get a little poor.
And if we're 17 cents cheaper than Fremont, they're the other closest competitor. So we're in pretty good shape now to start bringing in more traffic. In fact, we've already sold, just in the month of June, we sold 500 gallons, over 500 gallons.
Of
100 low lead.
100 low lead.
Regular avgas.
So this is the best month we've had in a long time.
Well, if the weather holds, Airfest's gonna be good.
Yeah, Airfest is coming up on the 16th of August, and we're expecting a big turnout this year, like always. And if the weather's good, it'll be a bigger turnout. Some of the issues we're looking at, they're mentioned in my report. I don't know if I need to read them out. We determined, that we have identified a need to pave the bigger pad around the jet fuel tank of the jet fuel system, because a couple of weeks ago, we had a lot of rain and it washed a bunch of dirt out, and that's gonna have to be paved to keep it from washing out again. So we're gonna pour more concrete for the jet pad,
Good idea.
and it's still within budget.
Okay,
Okay, do you guys have any questions?
you able to mow all right, everything ready to mow?
Yeah, I've been mowing.
I
Still
have
got
one
some more mowing
question.
to do.
One question on the filters, we have 2 in stock, maybe how often do, I know probably usage, is it a filter as it's being pumped on? Is that like an
Yeah.
inline filter?
We have to replace the filter on the 100 low lead. The gas has to be replaced once a year. And the same will be true with the jet fuel system, but it has 4 filters.
Right.
But they recommend that while the system is still new, they recommend that we replace the filters in 6 months, then go to a 1-year schedule.
I was just looking at only 2 aboard if we had 4 and 1.
Yeah, I have 2 filters for the avgas, which will last me 2 more years.
Right.
And I've got enough to do the 6-month change out for the jet fuel, so I just need to order more filters.
You're getting businesses to put a magnetic sign on these cars, advertising their business.
For the courtesy cars, yes. We haven't had anybody else sign up for them for quite a while, but we do
Probably ought
have.
to put circulating a request, because there are some new businesses in town now.
Yes, there are. Yeah.
And some of the old ones, they ought to appreciate it, given the traffic, people
Right.
want to know where
There's
to
some
go.
traffic moving.
Okay. Something.
Now I've got the Trailblazer in with Dan to get everything repaired and checked over before we hand that over to you.
Okay, good, thank
And
you.
then, probably looking at maybe the Jeeps right before winter time or something, so,
When?
right before winter time,
Okay.
so, and then,
Wait for the snow.
so we're just going through all of our vehicles and where we need to place them, so.
Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Robin, you got a question?
A question, do you have a cost plus on any of your vendors or contracts for the fuel? I was asked that by firefighting.
A cost plus, we have had, if you're talking about how we price our fuel,
Is this for the fire department, they want to break, or
Not the
what?
fire department, well, basically, it's a potential revenue maker, because if they need the fuel and it's cheaper to get it here rather than flying somewhere else, oftentimes there's a cost plus that's part of that, so that's just something to think about.
yes, we have the ability to do that. And I'm sure the commissioners
Sure.
have already approved it, in fact. We do have the ability to give discounts to certain credit cards. And that's what they would need.
So it could be a flight for life like came in already, Robin, and that's the kind of deal they got.
Yeah, I was just thinking for firefighting, cost plus would be an additional cost, so like the price of the fuel plus
No, we get it.
that operational percentage.
No, we won't charge any extra for that, do we? If, we already have the cheapest jet fuel in the state.
Right, I was just thinking of it more on a revenue potential.
Well, something to think
Yeah,
about.
right now, we're not worried so much about revenue, we're just trying to increase traffic, bring more business into the county. And.
And they'll get the cheapest price for firefighting. We can't go below the cost, and they're right they were right at, well, I guess we're making still 25 cents or more.
On jet fuel?
Yeah.
No, we're still doing a lot better than that.
They're better than that, I mean, it's like $1.
Yeah, there's a big markup on jet fuel.
Yeah. So, that's a good question, but I think they can get the same result on what they're paying, or what they're trying to get it down to, I think.
Yeah. We can give them a discount. We have a lot of room to give a discount for things like firefighting. And also, the state uses helicopters for restocking all the high altitude lakes. So they'll be glad that we have fuel this year instead of they don't have to bring their own.
That's right.
Same thing for the helicopters that, the contracting helicopters that come in and count wildlife. Every year they have to do a survey of elk and deer.
Survey.
And they use helicopters for that, so they'll be happy to have jet fuel available too.
Yeah, all right.
Get the word out. Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
I'm good.
Thank you, Clyde. Thank you, Clyde. Brian, you're up. Thanks again, Clyde. Thanks.
Thanks. All right, Mr. Brian.
How's it going?
How you doing?
Mr. Landfill.
Nope.
Mr. Brian.
How's it going?
Landfill.
Nice.
Oh, boy. Where to start? No, everything's going good out there. All the equipment, is fine. We just had the loader service, which I didn't put in here, but we had it serviced 2 weeks ago, so we're good there. Compactor service will be due probably in another 100 hours, which Dan will do that instead of Four Rivers, so we'll avoid that $4,000 cost. We did have an issue. We received a letter regarding the stormwater annual report that was due on March 31st, which I did not get submitted till May 28th. And I just forgot about it, basically. I submitted it and received an email saying that they got it, but nothing, I haven't received anything else, so. And what that is basically, every quarter I have to inspect the outfall where the stormwater leaves the landfill. And if there's a discharge while we're working at the landfill, we're required to sample that, send it to the lab, and basically see if we're under the parameters of what, what the state was looking for.
Is there a penalty for missing that? I didn't see anything.
What's that?
I didn't see a penalty that they.
Oh, no.
There won't be.
They said cease and desist on the bottom of that, but I'd like to see them try that, But anyway, so that's been solved. But I have not received anything else regarding that.
Like a cash contributing.
It said penalty, that's all it said, but I'm not worried about it, so. Me and Sherry Tovey with Road and Bridge resolved some issues that we had. So I've been paying, or the landfill has been paying Road and Bridge's annual emission fee notice for the last, well, I don't know how long, since I've been here in 2020. I always receive 2 letters, annual emission fee notices. And so I finally got to the bottom of why there was 2. One had my name, Custer County Landfill, Brian Lockton, Custer County Landfill. That was actually Road and Bridge's APIN, which was $50. And the APIN, that's the air pollution emission notice, which is due every 5 years. But the fee is every year, you gotta pay the fee. So that was $50, and then the landfill said Rick Farron on it, who hasn't been
around for years.
And it's like $20, so I mean, it's not a big expense.
That's
But we
the road
did,
and bridge one.
it's $50. So anyway.
But it needed to be.
It needed to be addressed.
Yeah.
And so now they will get that, and I will get the landfills. And all the information should be accurate for next year. So anyway, that was that, and I did talk to Vernon. I don't know if he's still here or not, but.
No, I think he's going.
That TANA payment is coming up.
Okay.
And I believe it's September.
Okay.
And we can pay it at any time.
Okay.
And that's 138,000. So, the sooner we get it paid, the more, the better for me, just to, for the
You're
county.
not worried about it.
Not worried about it, exactly. And so I'll get with him again. And then the well, we've got to, drill that well at some point. And the current well is in the area fill. It is not in phase 2 of the area fill. And so we do have time still. Phase 2, I will get the CQA report submitted to the engineers to where they can look through it, and they'll actually write the report and send it to the state.
How deep is it?
That well is, I think, 280.
And it's still above the water table? Or is it?
It's the well that supplies my office.
That's what, okay.
Yeah, and it's in the area fill. It is actually, it needs to be decommissioned, capped.
Okay. Yeah, because it's gonna be.
There'll be trash on it.
Track.
There'll be trash put over it.
Yeah.
And so that needs to be something that is priority here. I do know the landfill expansion fund has 67,000 in it, so, if we need to, we can just use it. Next month, I'll probably have a little more on a report regarding that. Other than that, I think we're okay.
Yeah, 2 questions. Time remaining on the current landfill pit? Projection of when we...
You mean like phase 1? That's a good question. Because it's a draw now, it's not a trench. The trenches I could pretty much calculate. We've been in that area, Phil, since March 18th, so it's been 4 months. And I have no idea.
A while.
Yeah, and so.
It looks like much is happening.
Yeah, so, everything's good. We got the litter fence, which I'm gonna get that cleaned up, and the BLM, I will get that, we'll work on getting that cleaned up too. Because of the springtime, it's just a nightmare dealing with all the debris, but we'll get it. And so, we don't have any complaints by any means, but.
All right.
So, yeah, that's all I got.
Good deal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Okay.
I recycle.
Tim may not be
Tim not
here.
coming.
This is this isn't as busy as the Wednesday, but that might have been my fault.
I saw him yesterday and I forgot to tell him about it.
Yeah, I did too, so.
All right. You got anything to add to it?
No, I'll just kind of go through, his report. Year to date, all materials, 120 bales of all materials produced. Prices are pretty much maintaining. But they're getting busier. They make a lot more trips to the collection sites than what they used to. But yeah,
Volunteer hours.
year to date through April, $11,500 in sales revenue of material collected. And we should hear anytime on the grant that he submitted. And this is the last of the reimbursement grant, and then the state's going to a completely different program for recycling, so we'll see what that ends up being. So, I don't know, we should hear, I'm hoping here in the next couple weeks,
Yeah.
what that reimbursement grant is.
Hopefully within another week or two.
Yeah,
Oh, and I want to make this public, meaning that recycling, if people bring their recyclables to the collection spots, we bring them to the MRF, right? That's the recycling center, it's called MRF, material recovery facility.
Yeah.
But any cardboard that gets thrown in the landfill roll-off that actually goes to the landfill employees are not picking it out.
No.
And taking it to the MRF.
Right.
It's going to the landfill.
Absolutely.
It's not our responsibility to take anything from the landfill to the MRF. If it goes to the landfill, it's being landfilled.
Right.
I just want to make that clear.
No, it truly is a waste diversion. And it's a free service. It probably really should be it should be a reduced fee from landfill collection fees, but, yeah, for right now, it's free, so it's left up to the people,
Sort it.
the citizens to sort it. We're not sorting, so.
So I just wanted to clarify that.
No, I agree, because you have, the people get a
Yeah,
little
people-
sideways with you and go, there's cardboard down there. It
Yeah,
should be,
indignant.
Yeah, that should be
not up
taken
to you to
into
recycle.
No. So, anyway, just wanted to see that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm good with that. Anything else?
No, we're good.
How about OEM? Robin?
Ms. Rock.
Yeah.
Morning.
Oh, she's selling, she got a set for sale sign.
It's not a protest sign.
You got one for the front and the back with little shoulder humps.
Yeah. So, this is our sign for our neighborhood mitigation days. I'm pretty sure you can see it. And it's double-sided. So we put the date and things like that in there. So my name is Robin Knappe with OEM, and you have my report. Our highlights are community outreach continues for our biggest threat in the county, wildfire mitigation. And we have 13 neighborhood ambassadors. So we've got plenty of mitigation going on now. We've had 3 large chipping events. One yesterday was so popular that we're going to have to go back and make a second trip. So this is taking off. I'm getting some good feedback, not only from a nonprofit who wants to have some of their slash chip, but also individual homeowners. So hopefully it's just taking off. We have a really great little mitigation crew. They're all volunteers, and they're enjoying the work, although I will say yesterday was hot. So we're following the fire guidelines for rest work. We're working 50 minutes and then resting for 10 according to the humidity and the heat index. So we're watching safety. That's our paramount, as you know, with a machine like the chipper. But after we got the original brake problem fixed, we seem to be just working right along with our supplies and volunteers and keeping up with the demand so far. And we'll continue to hopefully grow that demand throughout the summer and keep reducing the fuel in the county. We also had representation at the Family Fun Day, and we did have a weather forecast for that. I think that was helpful. We had great weather, but if we'd had any kind of wind, there are a lot of tents there, so that again is a safety focus. If there are other events that are sponsored, such as the big festivals or rodeo, we would not, all we need to do is contact National Weather Service, provide a contact, and then they would call them with the forecast either the night before or the morning or both. And then if it's a multi-day event, we can also have them call each day. So if that is an interest of any of those events coming up, let me know. We'll hook you up with Clint Skelly, our National Weather Service representative in Pueblo. And I've kind of made it a little thing to let him know that our Pueblo forecasts don't really cover the county. So he's doing a better job of trying to report those, as well as our fire reports. And I think all those that I get, I'm pushing on to the sheriff and the fire and you all to see. Like, we had a potential tornado forecast, which is unusual for our area. So it didn't happen, which is great because our cells didn't apparently form like that, so that's fine. But we've had some wacky weather for sure, Colorado wacky weather.
Mhm.
Any other questions on the report?
So they were asking me how these neighborhoods can rent the chipper. They call it renting the chipper.
Right.
I didn't have to explain that process because we do want to mitigate fire anywhere we can. How, you have ambassadors and all that. Explain that so it's clear and we can get it in the paper.
Sure. The ambassador is recruited for the homeowner association or subdivision. Then that ambassador, as one contact, can contact all the other folks in that area to promote a chipping days, mitigation days, which will then become an annual event. So it's not a one and done solution, no mitigation is, because it grows back. And so you have to keep on top of it. So getting that motivation going, so if they give us a call or email, then we can talk to them about what it is to become an ambassador. So for example, I was talking to one of the sheriff's deputies yesterday and I said, now where do you live again? And I said, you know, you should be an ambassador for us because that neighborhood needs an ambassador. And that's how I have recruited some of these folks, is just talking to them and saying, hey, we don't have anybody in that area. Would you consider doing that? Started with Tim Harmon and some of the others, so.
Yeah, I want to make it clear so everybody knows that we just didn't buy a chipper to do on the road once a year with BSO people taking the firewood.
Right.
So it's a bigger deal. It's benefit for the whole county is what I'm trying to make
Yeah, it's
sure
like
everybody understands.
Countywide program, we're focused on the neighborhoods since we can get more than one house done, because if you do one house, you still have another bunch of houses that could, you know,
And are
be
you
a threat.
having briefings now, again, to explain fire mitigation and why you should do it, and people can come like they did in the past to the library or wherever?
Yeah, we had 3 briefings in May, and then also went to the school the last week of school and had the kids come to a safety presentation. Mindy from the library and I were the safety fairies, and so we were there in the library with our orange vests and helmets and our pink wings, and those kids then took a bag home to make a evacuation go kit. I think next year we'll do them in June, because I think a lot of the seasonal people were not back, but as you experienced at the library, we do not get big draw at the library, even though it's really a great place, we don't seem to get that big draw.
It matters on the advertising too. People care about having a wildfire, so they shouldn't care where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Good briefing.
I have a question, Robin. Have we had any requests about being able to take some of the chip? Are we just spreading it? Are we piling it? Has anybody asked, I don't want it on my property, can you take it? Are you in any kind of that question arena yet?
Yes, we're capable of taking it. What we would do is shoot it into the trailer and then haul it. You know, we haven't had that experience yet. Most people, we can just move that chute so that
on the ground.
it distributes out. The Forest Service does not recommend more than 6 inches deep. So you don't want to create a fire hazard there on the ground. So you want to make sure it is spread out. And we found out yesterday that we will need to add a rake to our inventory to help kind of disperse that. It's not those little chips you get in a bag. It's more like shredded, exactly. That answer your question?
We've been asked to have a road and bridge, when we used ours, they just say, well, we don't want it on our property.
You know, most of the folks that want to have the chips in their area, or they can put it in a pile, but we do require that they follow the homeowners association rules, and usually those are 30 days not to have that pile there. And then we probably need to go check and see if they have a pile to make sure that they're complying, so they don't blame us. So
That's what I was getting at,
Yeah, and we've done that once, last year, with a chipping operation where they rented the chipper. And the folks just in the whole neighborhood came and got it, so it was not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
So so Public Health is emptying one of their sheds.
Oh.
So, I've asked her to get together
Take a look
with
at that,
somebody
compare
and
it to
get
the other
that
building.
and bring that over. And then Public Health can use that, capital improvement money to make some of the
Good idea.
capital improvements to the building they need to suit their needs, so.
I think that'll work out well. It's kind of a stinky shed already, has some gas vapors in it, so that'll work well for the mitigation equipment. So I do have some personal action guides called Ready, Set, Go, for anyone that would like them. We all need to be safer in our mitigation. And I want to close with an email I got from Bob and LaBartha Cruz off Schultz Ranch Road. Robin and Cindy, thank you very much for including me in your program to provide chipping services. The chipping staff arrived ready to work on schedule as planned. Andrew and the others were very professional, answered a lot of questions, super good workers, and overall very good experience. Could not have been better. I would like to give every member of the chipping crew an A+, and thank you very much to Robin and Cindy for making the chipping service happen. Of course, for me, eliminating the trees and fallen limbs that could potentially create a fire hazard will be an ongoing process. To know that Custer County is willing to help reduce such a hazard deserves 1,000 thank yous. It sure helps to know fire mitigation is a priority for the county. Rest assured that my wife and I will sleep just a little bit better knowing a potential fire hazard has been reduced. And as for the 4 individuals doing the chipping, they are the best. So thank you to our crew for your support in keeping this mitigation going.
Awesome. Great.
Thank you.
Okay, Kids Council, there she is. You're back.
Stacy. It's Stacy. Good to see you guys. You guys have my report. There's just a couple of things I want to highlight. I know that Rich, during his report, talked about that meeting with Family Crisis Services. So Sarah Fisher, who works for them, contacted me. She's part of our council and wanted to kind of brainstorm with myself, Vicki from DHS, and Rich from the Sheriff's Department about providing some of those resources local here. So not only is there a place, a safe home, safe house in Canyon City, but we identified some places here that, I don't want to say where they are, but that would be a place here locally. So that was a really good meeting. A lot of good ideas came out of that. So more specifics can come as we work on that. Sarah's going to take that back to her board. So we're excited about bringing, because Family Crisis Services covers Custer County, but they just didn't have a place here. So we're working on getting them a place here locally. And then obviously a couple of people have mentioned our 6th annual Family Fun Day that we had this last Saturday. Close to 400 attendees. It fell on Father's Day this weekend, Father's Day weekend, as well as 25 partners, a lot. Like Lucas said, we had a great collaboration. Public Health was there, OEM was there, Sheriff Department, Fire Department.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal. Yeah, the only people missing were you two. So it's just a great opportunity to connect. I know, Paul, you talk about connecting with some of the younger families. That's a great opportunity. So this was our 6th annual one. It's always the 2nd Saturday in June. So we're always, really the idea is fun day, and then our partner agencies to be able to connect with the younger youth and families in our community. And one thing that I want to highlight is we created these, Lucas has seen it, but this is, did you know all the different services at DHS? We're really trying to help Vicki get some of those services out there. And we had a lot of people take a picture of this because they had no idea that DHS offered some of these services. So myself, Vicki, and Sarah Burleson with Public Health are really trying to work together to collaborate on letting the community know all the different services that are available. So we did that day as well. And then some that's not on your report that I just learned that I was really excited about. Myself and working with Reggie Foster with the Extension Office and 4-H have been really working on trying to get a youth program, Boys and Girls Club, after school programming, whatever you want to call it here. And we found out from El Pomar that we're getting about $49,000 a year for the next 3 years for this initiative. So really excited about that. And I'd like to connect with Dominic and Courtney. I had worked with Courtney in the past about doing some mentoring with the youth as well as our veterans. So I have some ideas on that. And then lastly, you're always asking about budget. The county does not give us any money. We get our budget solely from the state as well as the Buell Foundation. So if the county would like to start looking at a partnership.
So if you start losing it, we can start.
Well, I know that for fiscal year, so our fiscal year starts July 1, so July 1 through June 30th of 2026, my budget will stay the same. After that, I do know it will get cut. So just like examples, like I pay our rent, I pay all of like things that all the other departments are housed under the county. I pay for that through my budget through the state. So conversations down the road, but I sent you guys an email on June 9th, and I know, I think Lucas responded, but we have a lot more youth and families moving here. Custer County, from 2019 to 2023, had the second highest percentage of growth in the state for youth from birth to 17. We have, and this doesn't count the Mennonites and the Amish, so the numbers would be higher, but we have a total of almost 900 kids under the age of 17. So we're not just a retiree community. So I think it's really important that we start looking at investing more in some of those resources for those families. So yeah, that's kind of all I got as far as that wasn't.
Good summary.
Been busy.
Any questions?
No, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Good job.
very good.
And the extra food that we have for Family Fun Day, we always donate to the Sheriff's Department for National Night Out, which is August 5th this year. So lots of hamburgers and hot dogs and chips.
Great.
So,
Thanks, Stacy.
Thanks.
All right, public health.
Hello, commissioners.
Hello.
Awesome. I'll try to keep it shorter than my Board of Health report. So.
All right, that's a good goal.
It's a lot more fun, so everybody should come August 21st, be there. All right, so is everybody tired of hearing measles? Yeah, so we're still watching the measles cases nationwide. There's almost 1,200 cases, which is quite above the national average, stemming from the outbreak that happened in Texas. So the most recent case is from a fully vaccinated adult on June 13th who traveled to Europe. So they are in Boulder County. So we have luckily so far not had any cases in Custer County. And if anybody is concerned about their immunization status, please call us. We can help get you vaccinated and or references to your physician to see if you need what's called a blood titer so they can test your immunity. So let me know if you guys have any measles questions. We are wrapping up our fiscal year 24-25. We are to spend down most of our funds. We have some funds that will roll and some funds that will not roll. And then of course that brings us to our lovely fiscal year starting July 1st. We have received, so they are not doing contracts for us this year. They're doing what's called option letters. So what that does is it allows the legal communication between the state and the local agency to stay open, even though that there are federal constraints. So it gives the states power to people to front money until the feds decide what they would like to distribute, which the federal budget year starts in October. So there is quite a big gap between July and October that we may have to sustain and look at. So this is why Lucas and I have been meeting at least weekly to stay up on
But the
the
federal
finances.
grant from before should get you through to that.
Some yes, some no, and they have revoked some funding, so they've stopped some funding revenue streams completely, so. The biggest one we're looking at is our FEP grant, so that is, it falls into two categories, so it's our epidemiology, so that's our communicable disease tracking and efforts there, and then EPR, which is our emergency preparedness and readiness. So to combat that, because they have really halted, not the epi, because obviously with the measles and all the other fun stuff, you can't stop that work. But they're kind of re-strategizing our emergency preparedness and trying to expand our partnership with them as well. We are updating our internal equipment inventory, so as we shift our focus, we are reallocating our resources, keeping track, so when Robin gets the trailer parked, we'll have a full inventory list of what the trailer contains as well as what we have on site at Public Health. So we've completed, the BOH meeting was on the 22nd. I performed a radio interview at KLZR on the 6th, so you'll be hearing my voice. Family Fun Day was wonderful. This past Saturday, my entire staff participated. We had raffle items. It was great. Like I said, we have continued to start both external policies and internal policies. So we've got timekeeping efforts, PTO, and purchase orders within our own office. They are wonderful tools and they help with our grant tracking. We have also been doing our monthly staff meetings and internal grant workshops, and as soon as we get a hold of our next year's funding, we will hold a workshop internally to plot and estimate our staff's hours coming out of the grants. We have, thankfully, due to staff restructuring, reduced our staff FTE by 40%, which is a huge money saver. And we've got our office flow now that it completes patient privacy by having them come through the front door and go to a private care room versus vaccinating on the back table. So that is what we're doing at Public Health. Any questions?
Good summer.
Yes.
When was the last time a cat came to see you?
Oh, Sylvester is our unofficial public health mascot. I believe it was a couple weeks ago, but we do enjoy his company, so.
Trying to keep them away. So.
Yes.
I forgot to mention the shelter class too.
Oh, yes, so we will be participating with OEM and I believe DHS as well on the 25th, which is next Wednesday already. We're going to do, it's with the American Red Cross, and it is to strengthen our team building skills for sheltering. So if we were ever to need to launch an emergency shelter for wildfire purposes or blizzard purposes, we will have the training to do so.
Good.
Sweet.
Good deal, thank you, Sarah. Okay, Reggie.
Now I'm Reggie. I'm Reggie
All right,
today.
go for it.
Representing Reggie at the Custer County Extensions Program, and she happens to be on a weed tour right now with the weed board and other people. So she had to bow out of our meeting today. Recap what she has put in her written report is that the fair is up and running. We're up to date on our targets of what needed to be accomplished. Most of the energy is focused on having a successful showcase at the county youth and skills. I have, says I have worked with the CSU to help with some accessibility needs for this year's fair. This is another example of getting the actual resources for the benefit of our county residents. Our new person, Emily, is currently attending a conference through today, but they have received a $1,000 grant, and that is for the use of training in livestock clinics and building the skills for women and girls in 4-H. And that was done on Friday, June 13th. They also participated in the Family Fun Day, just getting the awareness out again to the community. 4-H Leadership Development Conference is where she is at currently, and she is the speaker there, and decision-making contest. Emily is judging the contest and is, she's also said she was co-chairing workshops. And, the Eagle Scout project is on track. The first phase of that has been approved. The project will be completed in the beginning of July before the county fair. Everything is coming along good for the fair. County Fair marketing animal donations via the VSO and DHS. Explain that a bit. This is a program where the people that purchase the livestock can go ahead and donate that, their actual purchase, and donate that for distributing throughout the VSO and the DHS system. And then the weed board, again, doing their walk today. They attend quite a bit of training for Family Rights and Privacy Act training, and then also dealing with hazardous planning for animal, agriculture, food-related diseases as required by CSU duties. So the two of them have been very busy, especially right now, ramping up for the fair, and everything should be on time. And the last board meeting for the fair went over how they were tracking, how they were going to have the capabilities of purchasing a lot easier this year. So look forward to see how that program comes full circle. Any questions? Hopefully I can answer them. No, that's it. It's my report. Her report, excuse me.
All right, it's time here. 11 o'clock, 11:04. We've got any unfinished business? I don't think so. Any new business? I don't think we have anything on here.
No, new business will end up being next week, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so let's bring it to public comment. Anybody out here?
Our public.
You got one, Don?
I got one thing while I was sitting here. I had Richard Posadas text me from the Legion. All the proceeds that are raised from the parade, from the flag parade, are all gonna go to my widows and widows fund, so.
Oh, good.
So that takes a while, so.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, anybody online? Anybody online, or did they all
Yeah.
survive?
5 online.
Good info. All right, well, with that, we'll adjourn this meeting at 11:04. Thank you, everybody, and thanks for coming, staff.
Thank you.